You're thinking about
The
YNN.
newspaper, YNN, Joe's here. I think everybody's here, so it's right on time anyhow. The way we're gonna start off, everyone, just so you know, I think everyone knows Joe Weeks, Lieutenant Weeks, and certainly John, our DA, Jon Buddelman. I'm gonna read the statement. You all got a copy, I hope. Jimmy, I think, passed them out. I'll read it just so you have it on the record. You can certainly take that home with you, back with you, and if you need to refer to it. After I get done with it, we'll open it up for questioning. The scene has just been released, so we can tell you that when we get to it. Sheriff Dave Gould reports on 12/30/13 at 11 p.m. last night, the Cayuga County Sheriff's Office responded to a 911 call of a stabbing at 5828 Lakeview Drive, Town of Fleming, Cayuga County. Upon arrival, deputies found the victim, John E. Welsh, age 41, of that address unresponsive. Welch was transported to Auburn Community Hospital by Fleming ambulance and pronounced dead at the hospital at 11:38 p.m. last night. The preliminary investigation identified the subject as Logan T. Jones, age 18, also of that address, and it was reported that Jones had fled the scene on foot, possibly armed with a knife. The Sheriff's Office, New York State Police, Auburn Police Department began an extensive ground search, and at 12:48 a.m. this morning, New York State Troopers Anthony DeMarco and Richard Rivenberg spotted Mr. Jones on Kearney Ave in the city of Auburn and took him into custody without any incident. Jones was not armed at the time he was found. Detectives are continuing the investigation and continuing to interview witnesses. We are interviewing as we speak. The murder weapon, believed to be a kitchen knife, has not been located at this time. The weapon is believed to have been discarded somewhere between the scene at Lakeview Drive and the dead-end area of White Birch Lane. For the local people, they'll certainly know where that is. The Sheriff's Office requests that any residents in the area of Lakeview Drive, Forest Hill Drive, White Birch Lane, please, sometime today, go out before we get some snow, go out and check their properties and notify 911 Center if they locate this weapon. Do not touch it. If they locate it, call 911. At this time, there is no motive identified in the murder, and the circumstances preceding the stabbing are unknown. The victim and the defendant are stepfather and stepson. Logan T. Jones, age 18, has been charged with murder second degree, was arraigned in the Town of Fleming Court by Judge Dave Warzak, and remanded to the Cayuga County Jail at this time without bail. The Sheriff's Office was also assisted by Fleming Fire Department and our great Cayuga County 911 Center, who did an outstanding job on this. I'm going to open it up for questions. You can certainly talk to the DA, myself. Joe will be able to answer some that I can't. So go for it. Sam.
How was he identified as a suspect? Were there any witnesses or anything like that?
Yeah, I can't get into exactly what we have as witnesses, but there was 2 possible witnesses to this incident.
Has he been in court already? Has he been arraigned?
Yes, he's been arraigned in front of Judge Warzak in the Town of Fleming.
I'm sorry.
And committed to here with no bail.
Okay, no bail.
Any criminal history on the suspect?
Yes, there is. Suspect has been arrested for misdemeanors and felonies in the past.
Any history of domestic violence between these 2 individuals?
Not that we have at this time.
Are these the same suspects that were arrested a couple months ago and charged with attempted burglary?
Yes.
That kind?
Yes,
Yeah. Are there any way those cases are connected or?
No.
No?
I mean, with this homicide?
Yeah.
Not that we have determined at this time.
Can you clarify that? These 2 people, the victim and the suspect, were arrested together in a burglary. When was that?
I think it was August 12th.
August of this year by the Auburn Police Department.
And what was the status of that case?
August 13th at 28 Elizabeth Street.
And the status, John, is still...
John Welsh, the deceased, had entered a plea of guilty on November 26th to an attempted burglary and conspiracy charge. Was due for sentencing January 28th. The charges are still pending against Logan Jones.
And what are the charges against him?
It's attempted burglary second, conspiracy fourth, and possession of burglary tools.
And those charges are still pending?
Yes.
And that was, those incidents occurred in the town of, or in the city of Auburn, back in August of this year. And again, I want to emphasize, this is a stepfather and a stepson incident, so it is a domestic violence related homicide, another one in Cayuga County. The last one we had that fit this pattern was Bernie Gallo, our deputy that was killed 3 years ago by his son.
Can you be a little more specific about who called 911 with the report?
So could you-
Yeah, I will.
Family members inside the residence called 911, and a family member that was contacted by persons inside the residence also called. We received 2 different calls.
Can you tell us how many other people were in the house when this happened?
Yes, there were 3 other people in the house at this time, at that time.
Relatives?
Rather not go into that right now, just because of the ages of the subjects. I'd like to keep that.
That was kind of there
Yeah.
were little ones.
They were family members, I can tell you that, but I'd rather not give names and ages at this time.
Are they siblings
Yes,
of the suspect?
yes.
Was the person in common, the mother, the wife and the mother of the 2 individuals, was she present?
I
She
don't
was at
believe so.
work.
Yeah,
No,
she was working.
she was working.
Can you tell us, did the little ones see what was going on?
I can't really say
Okay.
at this time, Laura, it's still, I mean, we're only less than 12 hours into this, so I really can't, maybe later on we can send that out in a press release. But right now, because of the situation and what these siblings saw, I'd rather not get into it right now.
How many children? What are their ages?
I'd rather not get into that, but there was three siblings.
Can
in
you
the
say
house.
like under the ages of?
Under the age of 18.
Is Mr. Jones still in high school, or?
Don't know the answer to that.
I'm not aware that he attends school.
Is there a description of a knife?
Go ahead, Joe.
Just as far as we know, a kitchen-style knife. That's all we have at this point.
I imagine it's pretty good size. So, again, I really am asking the people, the residents in this area that I mentioned, please go outside when you find out about this, when you see this on the news, read it in the newspaper, hear it on the radio. Please go outside your houses and look around, because we'd really like to recover this knife, and it is in that area, we're quite sure, because of the information we've received. We think it's definitely located in that area somewhere.
I have to ask, why aren't there teams of firefighters or teams of officers?
There has been.
There have
Absolutely
been?
has been.
We did that all night and this morning.
And is that continuing, or have you concluded that end of the search and hoping?
No, that'll continue until we hopefully find it, but it's gonna be a lot easier to find it with 1,000 other people looking. So we've had teams out there since it happened looking for the knife.
The neighborhood where this crime happened, is it, I mean, I imagine they're not used to things like this happening.
No, that's for sure. It's a close-knit neighborhood, it's a cul-de-sac, and it is right next to Fleming #1 Fire Department. If anybody, certainly the local people will know where it is. It's literally 100 yards from the Fleming Fire Department.
Near the Springside.
Near the Springside Inn, off of Route 38 in the town of Fleming. Right now, across from the lake, it's a beautiful area. Great people live there. It's just a terrible incident where another domestic violence incident in Cayuga County, and we've had too many. We've had way too many for the size of this county. I said that at the last homicide, and now I gotta say it again. So it's a shame. It's ruined a family. Siblings will probably, it's just, I don't want to go into it, but it's really a shame to this poor family and everyone connected to the family, all the relatives and friends.
How long had the family lived there?
That I don't know. I know that I think the father and the son came over from Syracuse, I believe. The information we got last night within the last few years. Now, how long the family itself lived there, I don't know.
Relative had lived there prior to the deceased moving in with his family.
When's he due back in court, do you know?
Oh, on this, there's a preliminary hearing scheduled for Monday, January 6th, a felony hearing on this to determine whether you need to hold him.
For the district attorney, as the sheriff says, you've seen your share of domestic violence, violent crimes. Anything that is being contemplated at this point to maybe, make people aware that this is not the way to go?
Well, certainly, every one of these cases has been a tragedy, and frankly, I think we've seen more than our share of domestic violence homicides. we've tried increasing awareness, education. Not sure what it takes to get through to people. This is not the answer, but.
We have a domestic violence committee that's worked very hard to get the message out there. We have Take Back the Night. We have several fundraisers just emphasizing the domestic violence in our county and in the amount of incidents. So it's out there. All we can do is advise the public and certainly inform the public and educate the public. And that's what we've been trying to do for years in this county. I think we have a tremendous organization with different agencies trying to combat domestic violence in our county. Why we keep getting these incidents, it's mind-boggling, I don't know, but it's not from the lack of trying of people caring.
Any indication as to what transpired before the crime?
We don't. It's still, as we speak, we're still taking statements from people, witnesses, so much witnesses, but people that were involved after the scene and after the fact. So we will come out with a lot more information, I believe, as time goes on. But as I say, it's only been actually, 13 hours now, so.
Did the suspect say anything when he was arrested last night?
He did not.
Was there an argument before
We
this
do
took
not,
place?
do not know.
How many times was the victim stabbed?
I cannot release that.
Is it a unique crime that an ordinary kitchen knife was used? I mean, is that something you guys have dealt with in the past, or?
That's a common weapon that we see in a lot of stabbings, only because of the ready access of such knives.
The easiness to obtain is right in the kitchen.
Do you know where the others that were in the house are going to be, or have been taken? Or were
They are with a relative.
with relatives?
Yeah,
Okay.
they are with the relatives. The school has already been notified, the school system. They are already, and I'm not going to speak for the school system, the superintendent can speak for that, but they have been notified. They are already working on assisting the kids that are in school, the siblings that are in school. We have a great school system here, and I'm sure that they will do whatever they can to help these kids through this tremendous tragedy. So,
What did did you go to the scene last night?
yes,
Sheriff?
ma'am, I did.
What did the scene look like when you were there?
As far as what do you mean,
What did you
inside the
see?
house? Well,
Yeah.
again, I can't describe a crime scene. I'm not going to because we're still investigating it. But it was a crime scene. It was inside the house. It was all contained inside the house. There was nothing that happened outside the house. It all happened in the kitchen area and the living room area, but that's where the crime took place.
So you're looking for people to look for the knife. Do
Absolutely.
you have any other requests of the public at this point? Is there anything else that can help with your investigation?
Sure, anybody that had any contact with the individual before 11 o'clock last night, after 11 o'clock last night, until we located him, or anyone that knows that have talked to him, or that has any information regarding this, certainly we would love to hear from. Just call us, the Sheriff's Department here, or 911. Our biggest thing right now is certainly witnesses and to locate that weapon that night. It's really, it's not going to be a deal breaker, that's up to John, but it certainly always helps to have a murder, when there is a murder, it's certainly a weapon. And we are desperately looking for this.
And it's dangerous in and of itself, it should be.
If someone finds it, usually not to touch it, just call.
Absolutely, absolutely do not touch it. And people are smart enough to know that, just locate it. If they locate it, call 911. 911 will certainly contact us. We will send an ID team out and recover it. I believe we will recover it because I think a lot of people, once they see this and hear the information that we are looking for, will go outside and look. And it is in a specific area. It isn't like we're covering the whole county of Cayuga. So we're quite sure it's contained in this area because of information we received. So I think we will recover this.
Does it have a metal handle, a wooden handle?
Do not know. All we
Is
know
it
is
a
it is a
serrated edge or a butter knife or?
Cannot tell you at this time. Not that I'm trying to keep anything from you. We just do not know at this time.
It's not a butter knife, it's a sharp kitchen style knife.
Do you know who his attorney is?
David Elkovich has been
David
assigned to
Elkovich.
the new charges. I think Tim Brennan was his attorney on the burglary that's pending.
And as we go on, if you have questions, certainly you can contact Lieutenant Weeks. Lieutenant Weeks is in charge of the investigation. One of his investigators are assigned to it, but Lieutenant Weeks will be in charge of the investigation. So if you need anything, you can certainly contact myself or Lieutenant Weeks tomorrow, the next day, whatever it may be. But go ahead, Laura, I'm sorry.
When you, did you say the troopers and you picked them up, basically?
The troopers found him, and the two of them was a trooper and a recruit trooper. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
good thing for a recruit trooper to, what a way to learn. But, yep, and they found him, located him in the city of Auburn, and picked him up without an incident.
Okay, were you following his footsteps, or, you know, how?
No, we're
how-
just looking
Just
for him.
happened to be?
Yeah, well, we knew that the footsteps were headed towards the city of Auburn, which would be east from the crime scene. So we just had our deputies, the city of Auburn Police Department, and troopers just driving the streets looking. And they found him, which was a great job. Anything else? I appreciate y'all coming, because as you know better than anybody, we solve a lot of crimes and find a lot of evidence through the media, and we really want to get this out there as quickly as possible. So if you could break into whatever you need to do for your different agencies, we appreciate it, because we're gonna get some snow later, and if we don't find this before we get snow, who knows how long it'll be. So if you could, whatever you need to do to break into your TVs, just something, scroll on the bottom, certainly on the newspaper, certainly on internet, whatever it may be, Joe, on the radio, if you could get it out there before the storm hits, we would really love to find this.
I found him in Auburn